Hello friends, today our Honorable Finance Minister Shri Arun Jaitley presented the Finance Bill 2016 in the Parliament, and we witness large number of changes in the indirect tax regime. There are changes for the broadening of tax base, there are changes for the streamlining of the certain system, for resolving the disputes, and then number of other changes which are for the benefit of the assessee at large. My dear friends, there are around 67 changes which we can discuss through this media, that what are the various changes and what will be the impact of the same. But for the sake of brevity, I am going to discuss you the major changes which we should discuss at this important point of time, and then at some other time, maybe through the seminar or through the webcast, we can discuss each and every change. Now, I will be dividing my entire discussion into the 4 parts as usual, and the first part I will be discussing with you the changes which are going to applicable from tomorrow, that is the 1st of March 2016. Now my dear friend, the first change which will be there in the first category, that is the 1st of March 2016, is the giving a retrospective benefit for the services provided to a government local authority or a governmental authority. I wish to explain you that under clause 12 of the mega exemption, there was a benefit available that in case you are rendering certain services to a government local authority or a governmental authority, you are not supposed to charge any service tax. My dear friend, on the 30th of January 2014, the definition of a government authority was changed to include any body established by government, meaning thereby earlier the exemption was available only and only for the bodies which are set up under the Act of Parliament, but the benefit was extended to the bodies which are established by the government. But this benefit was available only from the 30th of June 2014, whereas this exemption, the clause 12 of the mega exemption, was applicable from the 1st of July 2012. Now by virtue of this amendment, they retrospectively giving the benefit that okay, the definition which was changed from the 30th of January 2014 will be made applicable from the 1st of July 2012, and accordingly the benefit will be available to the service provider providing services to these kind of organizations. The second benefit which is there is again a kind of a retrospective benefit which was available earlier to the airport and port. The clause number 14 of the mega exemption is dealing with the benefit that in case you are doing a construction or erection commissioning services to the airport or port, the same was exempted under the clause 14 up to 31st March 2015, but from the 1st of April 2015 the same was made taxable. But now my dear friends, government introduced the amendment, the notification, and provided the benefit with a retrospective effect, that is the benefit will remain valid, the exemption will remain valid up to 29th of Feb 2016 with a condition that the agreement under which you are performing this job was entered prior to the 1st of April 2015, and the certificate is there that okay, this agreement was entered prior to the 1st of April 2015. In a layman language, I once again reproduce that in case your agreement to provide the job at the airport or port was there prior to the 1st of April 2015, then even after 1st of April 2015 up to 29th of Feb 2016, or even now they have amended that with a new notification that up to 31st March 2020 the benefit will be available. Then my dear friend, the third change which is again there in the mega exemption number clause 14, there is a provision, there was a benefit available that in case you are doing a construction or erection and commissioning job for original work in relation to the railway, metro or monorail, the same is not subject to service tax. But my dear friend, this benefit will not be available from the 1st of March 2016 in respect of the construction or erection job for the metro or monorail, but with a specific proviso that in case your agreement was entered prior to the 1st of March 2016, then the exemption will continue up to 31st March 2020. So my dear friend, if you are entering the agreement on 2nd of March, the benefit will not be available and you are supposed to charge service tax on the construction and erection job for the metro and the monorail. Now my dear friend, Then we have certain new exemptions which was provided in this Finance Bill 2016. That is in relation to the exemption to the services by way of construction for certain housing project. Maybe this is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, affordable housing scheme, or some 60 square meter less house by the state government. Then, my dear friend, a very welcome notification is there for the purpose of exempting the information technology software. Now there is a widespread litigation that the software is attracting not only the value added tax, that is sales tax, and as well as the service tax. Now by virtue of this new notification, from the 1st of March 2016, in case your software is having a retail sale price and attracting the excise duty or the custom duty as the case may be. Custom duty in case you are importing from outside India, excise duty in case you are manufacturing locally in India, and if that product is carrying a retail sale price and the service provider is giving a certificate that the retail he is not charging over and above any amount on the beyond this RSP, then that software will not attract service tax. Then, my dear friend, there is an amendment in the services provided by the container train operators. You are aware that in case of a good transport by rail, either the railway or certain private operators are rendering the services. But in case of a railway and the other, there was an abatement available of a 70%, that only 30% value was taxable. But now, my dear friend, from the 1st of March 2016, in case the same is being provided by the private operator, the container operator, then the taxable value rather than 30%, it will be the 40%, but with a benefit that the credit of the input service will be available both to the railway as well as to these container operator. Now, my dear friend, going to the second leg of my presentation, that is the changes which will be applicable from the 1st of April 2016, and the first one is in relation to the advocate service. Now, my dear friend, you are aware that we have the certain senior advocates and the system of advocate in the judiciary. Now, my dear friend, in case an advocate is rendering a service to another advocate or to a non-business entity or a person who is having a turnover of less than rupees 10 lakh, then the service was exempted. The service is rather than is exempted. Wide notification number 25/2012, clause 6. Now, my dear friend, there is an amendment that they have bifurcated the senior advocate from the advocate, and in case these services are provided by the senior advocate, then that will attract service tax. They will not be that activity will not be exempted, as we have given in the clause number 6 of the mega exemption. Yes, if the senior advocate is rendering the services to other than a business entity, say a commerce organization is not there, a trade organization is not there, say a political party, a senior advocate is rendering a services, providing a consultancy legal services to a political party, then the same will remain exempted while clause number 6 of the mega exemption. Then, my dear friend, I am coming to a second change which will be there. The exemptions where the exemption has been withdrawn is in relation to the services for the transport of passenger by ropeway, cable car or aerial tramway. So now onwards, from the 1st of April 2016, the services provided by these cable car, ropeway or aerial tramway will be subject to service tax. Then, my dear friends, there are number of new exemptions which are being introduced. There are around 7-8 exemptions, say for example by the annuity scheme under National Pension System, services provided by SEBI, services provided by EPFO, then the IRDA, National Center for Cold Chain Development, then the Biotechnology Incubator, and services provided by the performing artist up to a sum of rupees 1.5 lakhs, and so on. Now I am coming to the abatement which will be applicable from the 1st of April 2016, and the first change is in the tour operator service. My dear friends, in present scenario, in case of a tour operator service, there are the 3 slabs. In case you are only booking an accommodation, then the applicable value, the taxable value is only 10%. In case you are providing along with the food, the taxable value is 25%, and in the last case, the taxable value is 40%. But now, my dear friend, under the notification number 26/2012, there will be a change from the 1st of April 2016 that there will be only 2 slabs. One is 10% and the another is 30%. So there will be only 2 slabs. If you are booking an accommodation solely, then the taxable value will be 10%, otherwise it will be 30%. Then my dear friends, in case of a transportation of passenger by rail, it is already taxable with the abatement of certain benefits. And in case of a credit, presently the credit is not available to a transportation of passenger by rail, but now onwards from the 1st of April, the railway will be eligible to claim the credit of input services. Then my dear friends, again it is on railway, the transportation of goods by rail. As I mentioned you, there are the 2 different type of SSC who are providing this kind of a services, one by Indian Railway and the another one is a private operator. Now in case by these services are provided by the Indian Railway, as we have earlier that only the 30% value is taxable, this will remain the same. But in case it is being provided by the private operator, the taxable value will be escalated to 40% rather than 30%. Then my dear friends, shifting of used household goods by GTA. You are well aware that the GTA is providing the services of transportation of goods by road. The exemption is available 70%, the 30% value is taxable. But now, in case the same is being the household goods, the taxable value will be escalated to 40% rather than 30%. Then my dear friends, in case of a foreman of a chit fund, you are aware that in the last year there was a major change that the chit fund foreman, whatever the commission or the agency charges or a foreman charges he is claiming, becomes service tax under the regime of Finance Act 1994 without any abatement. But now, under the notification number 26 of 2012, they amended once again and provided abatement of 70% in case of a foreman of a chit fund. Then my dear friend, the next change in the abatement scheme is in relation to the stage carries. You are well aware in the case of a rent-a-cab operator, we have 40% value taxable and the 60% abatement is there. And now by virtue of the amendment in the negative list, the stage carriage which is a air conditioned stage carriage which is going to become a taxable, now the abatement of 40% will be available in that case also. So for example, you are going from Delhi to Chandigarh or from Delhi to Shimla and you are travelling through the Volvo which is a stage carriage, will attract service tax at the 40% value. Then my dear friend, in case of a transport of goods by vessel, there was no segment credit available, but now by virtue of this amendment, the input service credit will be available to them as well. And the last amendment in the abatement is in relation to a construction of a complex building or a civil structure by the builders. Last year there was an amendment, last year there was an amendment that there were 3 slabs. In case you are a commercial you are doing a commercial construction, the 30% value is subject to service tax. In case you are doing a residential, there are 2 slabs, that is 25% and 30% based on certain area and the value of the flat. But now to remove this anomaly, they have given a flat 30% taxable value and 70% abatement in case of all kind of activity, whether it is in relation to a commercial or a residential one. Now my dear friends, coming to certain changes which will be there applicable from the 1st of April 2016 in the service tax rules. The first one is the quarterly payment. You are aware that in case of an individual and a partnership firm and even for a HUF, we can pay the service tax for on a quarterly basis. But this benefit was not available to the one-person company. Now they have extended the benefit that the quarterly payment of the service tax being extended to the OPC and HUF as well. Earlier it was only for the individual and the partnership firm, but now it will be available, a quarterly payment mechanism will be available to the one-person company and the HUF as well. Same way, in case you are an individual or a partnership firm, you are supposed to pay the service tax on a receipt basis rather than on an accrual basis in case your turnover is less than rupees 50 lakhs. But that benefit is also extended to the one-person company but not to the HUF. So in case you are an individual, you are a partnership firm or you are a one-person company, then you can pay the service tax on a receipt basis if case your turnover is less than rupees 50 lakhs, but this benefit will not be available to the HUF. Now my dear friend, in case of a reverse charge mechanism, there are 3 changes very important. There are 3 very important changes. Number 1 is the support services provided by the government. You are aware that recently a notification was there that from the 1st of April 2016, all the services provided by the government will be subject to service tax. Earlier, it was only the support services provided by the government which was taxable. But there was a confusion whether this will fall under the reverse charge or not. And now, under the notification number 30/2012, they amended the notification and provided that all the services provided by the government except the renting service will be subject to reverse charge mechanism. And then a removal of anomaly. Mutual fund distributor. If you are a distributor or agent of a mutual fund, then your services were under the reverse charge mechanism. Say I am a mutual fund distributor. So it was the AMC, the asset management company, which was supposed to pay the service tax under the reverse charge mechanism, not by me. But there was a problem that in case there is a subcontractor who is providing the same services to me, I have to pay the service tax to that fellow, but the CENVAT was not available to me because my part of service tax was paid by the AMC company. Now they have removed this anomaly and deleted this AMC services from the reverse charge mechanism, meaning thereby it will be by me, that is the distributor, who will be claiming the service tax from the AMC and will be claiming the CENVAT credit from the subcontractor, whatever the service tax he has paid to the subcontractor, and then finally he will pay the net amount to the government exchequer. So the benefit which was not available to me earlier for the CENVAT credit paid to the subcontractor will be available to me. Then my dear friend, there are major changes in the CENVAT credit rules. I will be coming up with examples, illustration to explain each and everything. Only two aspects I wish to share with you. That the rule 6, which was there for the common credit, which was there for the proportionate credit scheme, is having an overall change. So I will be coming with the illustration and example. So bear with me for the next 2 to 3 days, when I will be coming back to you with a more illustration. And in the meantime, there was a provision that in case I am providing the taxable and the exempted services, I can pay 6% of the exempted services and then can claim the 100% of the CENVAT credit, whatever the case may be there. So there is a major change in the same as well. Now my dear friend, a new service will be there. Now I am coming to the third category of changes, which will be applicable from the date of Finance Act enacted. So whenever there will be a passage of bill from the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and the President giving a assent, then the date will be notified, and from that date these changes will be applicable. And the first one is the insertion of a new service, that is the radio frequency spectrum. So in case of a 66E, that is declared service, a new addition will be there, that if you are providing a radio frequency spectrum, that will be subject to service tax. Then my dear friend, in case of assessment, you are well aware that under section 73, the normal period of issuance of show cause notice is 18 months. And under section 73 1A, if there is a fraud, collusion or a misstatement, the period for which the department can invoke the extended period was 5 years. But now my dear friend, from the date when this bill will be enacted, the normal period which was 18 months will be extended to 30 months, meaning 2.5 years. So the department will have a normal period of 2.5 years to raise the show cause notice, but in case there is a fraud, collusion or a misstatement, it will be 5 years as we have in the present mechanism. Then my dear friends, a very welcome change in the rate of interest, that is section 75. Today we have the rate of interest at the rate of 18%, 24% and 30% based on the slab. Say your late payment is 0 to 6 months, it is 18%. In case your delay is more than 6 months to up to 1 year, it is 24%, and beyond 1 year it is 30%. But that is very, very high. So number of representations were there, and now the government amended back the rate of interest, that is normal to 15%. In case there is a collection of tax and then there is non-payment of tax, then only the rate of interest will be 24% without any slabs. So there will be the two rate of interest, one is 15% in normal circumstances, and in case you have collected the tax and not paying the tax to the government exchequer, it will be 24% without any time period. Then my dear friends, there is again a very important change in the section 89, 90 and 91, that is in relation to the prosecution, issue of warrant and arrest, wherein in the present mechanism, it was there that in case there is a default for more than 50 lakhs, immediately the arrest was there. Though there was a clarification given by the department that even if the delay, the default is up to rupees 1 crore, so you don't have to so harsh. But now they amended the section itself and substituted the amount of rupees 50 lakhs by the amount of rupees 2 crore. Meaning thereby, if the default is more than 2 crore, then only the section 89 will be applicable. And further to that, they provided that if for certain reasons, say except the amount is being collected and not paid, then only the commissioner and the principal commissioner have the power to arrest that particular SSC. Finally, friends, I am moving to the last few changes. The last change is in relation to the exemption to the service tax provided to the government local authority or governmental authority. You are well aware that there was a clause number 12, that is the services provided to government local authority or governmental authority by way of construction, erection, commissioning or repair and maintenance of certain projects. Number 1 is a building which will not be used for furtherance of business or commerce, B for a educational or a clinical purpose, and C for a residential purpose for the government. Now dear friends, this amendment, this exemption was withdrawn on the 1st of April 2015, but now they reintroduced this amendment with a condition that the agreement should be entered prior to the 1st of April 2015 and the exemption will continue up to 31st March 2020. But I wish to convey you that in case you entered with an agreement to the government, local authority or governmental authority, say you for a construction of a school, which was there under clause number 12C, and you entered into an agreement, even paid the stamp duty for the purpose of that agreement prior to the 1st of April 2015, then the benefit will not only be available to this budget, that is 29th of Feb 2016, but even beyond that period, that is 31st March 2020. But in case you are entering into an agreement for construction of a school on the 2nd of April 2016, then you are supposed to charge and pay service tax. Then my dear friends, there will be a dispute resolution scheme which will be applicable again from the date of enactment of this finance bill, wherein in case you have a pending case with a commissioner appeal and you are paying tax along with interest and 25% of the penalty, immediately case can be declared concluding. And a very welcome change, that is the annual return. My dear friend, under rule 7 of the service tax rules 1994, there is a provision that every SSC has to file an annual return apart from the 2 half-yearly return, reconciled with the financial statement with a prescribed date. And the date will be prescribed, the forms will be prescribed, who will certify that return, all mechanism, all modalities will be prescribed in the times to come. But the procedure for the revision of that return, for late filing of the return will remain same as we have for the half-yearly return. And last but not the least, the last change which will be applicable from the 1st of June 2016, the fourth pillar of my presentation, that is the Krishi Kalyan Cess. My dear friend, recently you have witnessed the Swachh Bharat Cess in the month of November 2015. Now there is again a new cess, that is the Krishi Kalyan Cess, which will be applicable from the 1st of June 2016, making the service tax rate from 14.5% to the 15%. But a good thing which will be there, that this Krishi Kalyan Cess will be salvatable against the payment of Krishi Kalyan Cess. As we have in the education cess and the Swachh Bharat, the secondary and higher education cess, the credit of the cess can be used for the payment of cess. So that same provision will be there for the purpose of Krishi Kalyan Cess, and which will be applicable from the 1st of June 2016. So my dear friend, these were the around 24 changes which I discussed with you in a short span of time, because we have a limited time available to us. But very soon I will be coming back with all the 67 changes along with the presentation and the mathematical permutation and combination, some illustration, so that it will be a better and better clarity available to all our friends from across the country in the regime of service tax and as well as under the Excise and Senate Credit Rules 2004. Dear friends, till the time I say goodbye to each one of you. My only submission to you, that there are a lot of opportunities available in the indirect tax for the professionals like you. And now, since we will be having an annual return, it will be our duty to see that better compliances are going to the department by comparing the annual financial statements with the annual return in such a way that the 100% compliance is being made by each and every SSC. So goodbye and thanks to each one of you. Thank you very much.